Just like any major studio, Ubisoft works on several titles all at the exact same time. You could just look at one individual franchise such as Assassin's Creed, where Ubisoft have already revealed that there's 5 titles all in development, with there also being additional DLC to each and every single one of those games. And this is just looking at Assassin's Creed. Once we look at all of their titles, there's one which is a bit of a mystery. This is Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. This was first revealed back in E3 of 2021 and was originally scheduled for release in late 2022, which has since been delayed, but that's all that we ever really heard. So in this video, we're going to be going through everything that you need to know about Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. But before we do get into the video, if you enjoy the content here and want to see the latest from me, then make sure that you do hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Every single week we are uploading the latest news and the latest tutorials around Ubisoft titles. So if you do want to stay up to date on everything, then make sure you are following the channel. Getting back into the video, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora is not going to be the first Avatar game that Ubisoft have developed. In fact, there was one back in 2009 called James Cameron's Avatar: The Game, which released at a very similar time as the film. This was a third-person action video game which was released on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Microsoft Windows, Wii and Nintendo DS, and was developed by Ubisoft Montreal. Overall, this game was mediocre. It had a 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb and IGN gave it a 6.8 out of 10. It certainly looked good for a 2009 game. But other than that, it has been said that there were no other notable qualities. This is definitely not a classic game that time forgot. It didn't do well and that's why people don't know about it. But this does give an opportunity to Ubisoft. They do still have the Avatar license, which means for Frontiers of Pandora, it could really well be Ubisoft's opportunity to start over and make a really fun action game, which isn't just based on it looking good. Now, for us to go any further within this video to talk about the game, we also need to talk about the elephant in the room. This is, of course, the film itself. If you don't know the Avatar story, firstly, I don't blame you. We're going to quickly go through it. There is an organization called the Resources Development Administration, also abbreviated to RDA. They pretty much mine the planet of Pandora for valuable minerals. And it turns out Pandora's inhabitants, the Na'vi, would much rather humans stop digging up their planet. The RDA obviously don't want to do this, so instead of trying to deal with it diplomatically, instead they send an avatar of a former Marine to the planet instead. And since Pandora is toxic to humans, they use avatars, essentially copies of themselves in a Na'vi's body, so that they're able to access the planet and do what they need to do. Now, with the original Avatar story, this Marine that ends up being selected actually falls in love with one of the Na'vis and decides that the Na'vi people are worth saving. In the aftermath, humans are banned from Pandora and only he gets to stay. Now, the reason I needed to mention all of this is because it links into the next part, which is the story of Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. This has not been revealed, but it does bring in a few theories based off what's already out there. The first theory is that at the beginning, when this game was first announced, it was also supposed to be releasing alongside Avatar 2, which has still got a release date of the 16th December 2022. So the theory was that whatever happens within the film is directly connected to the game. Now, of course, this theory has somewhat broken down because the game has since been delayed to sometime between 2023 to 2024, which is just nowhere near when the film's going to be releasing. The other theory from the story itself is that the game will be set after the events of the original Avatar movie, mainly because we can see within the trailer that you can see the Na'vi and the RDA fighting. So it can't be the early days and it can't be during. They've been banned from Pandora and it's likely that they're ignoring that ban. However, both of these are theories. With what has been confirmed, Ubisoft website claims that the game will take players through the Western Frontier, which is a never before seen part of Pandora. The website also claims that it will be a living and reactive world inhabited by unique creatures and new characters, and also refers to the game as a standalone story, which probably means it won't be tied to the second film in any significant way. From the trailer that was first revealed, and there is only one which gives us a first look and was released back in 2021, it certainly gives a Far Cry feel. And that's apparently what they're going for. It will be an open world, first person action game. And there are times within the trailer, even though it's a cinematic trailer and does not represent the final product of gameplay because they just didn't have it at that point, it still occasionally goes into first person view. And I think that this is a good choice considering that their 2009 game was a third person, and as already mentioned, it didn't go down particularly well with ratings. I think overall this is a good decision for the direction that they're going in. Out of all of their games, I would much rather like to see this game as part of a Far Cry-esque type of style rather than it being anything else that they currently have available. The Far Cry games in terms of gameplay have always been fun. And I think for the choice going in first person, even though loads of people like going third person, I can understand it, and it's probably on a similar line to why CD Projekt Red went with first person with Cyberpunk 2077. And it's more about it being immersive so that you actually feel like the character when going through the world. And with the Avatar world, that's definitely a huge selling point. Now that we're on the subject of selling point, we should also talk about the expectation. Avatar the film is the world's highest grossing film of all time. This partly because tickets to 3D film showings are more expensive than regular screenings. Not to mention that Avatar was directed by James Cameron, whose film Titanic held the record for the second highest grossing film up until Endgame was released in 2019. But Avatar is still number one and just holding on. With this achievement, it's not just led James Cameron to be behind the next Avatar film, which is Avatar: The Way of the Water, but there's also sequels to this as well, all of which are in development and scheduled to release over the next couple of years. This is massive, and with it, there's gonna be some expectation with it coming over to the game as well. This can either be a massive success or it can be one of the biggest flops ever. This also somewhat depends on how well or how not so well the films do once they are released. Because if these films end up doing amazing and it builds up a lot of hype for the game to be just as good, only for it not to be, there's going to be a lot of fans disappointed, more than what you would see out of any other type of title, because it's the expectation leading the way and not so much of the game being overhyped due to the trailers that they're releasing. This should be an interesting one to see, and I'm sure Ubisoft did intend to release the game at the exact same time as Avatar: The Way of the Water. That way they can sort of bridge together and have a very good marketing plan going through December of 2022, but still decided to delay the game, which of course is going to cut off a very good way in which they could have brought in extra revenue from those that did watch the film and immediately wanted to play in a game universe similar to what they've just watched. Now, as already mentioned, it was scheduled to release in 2022, has since been delayed. And currently Ubisoft are saying that it will release sometime between 2023 and 2024. And going off what we just previously mentioned, where I'm sure Ubisoft would like to try and get some profits out of people watching the movie and then immediately buying the game, they could still do that, because not only is Avatar: The Way of the Water being released, but there's also another 3 Avatar films within development. Avatar 3 being planned to release in December of 2023, Avatar 4 planned to release in December 2025, and Avatar 5 planned to release in December 2027. So if they did want to align a game alongside a movie, well, let's just say that they have plenty of options. Right now, Ubisoft have many titles in development and a lot of them are being delayed. And at the time recording this video, as we are approaching 2023 and we still not seen any gameplay from this, considering it was first announced back in June of 2021, I would assume that it's not going to come anytime soon. We're talking late 2023 or even 2024, unless it does get delayed again. And because it's just complete radio silence, yeah, I'm really not getting my hopes up for this anytime soon. And if they did delay it, I honestly would not be surprised. But as for now, this is absolutely everything that we know about Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. And of course, we did also need to talk about the films, and this definitely makes it a unique video when talking about Ubisoft titles, because in other cases, we don't have this. We can just talk about gameplay, but with this one, we did also need to mention the films themselves. But anyway guys, let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Is this something that you're excited for, or are you just holding off to go and see what actually gets revealed in terms of gameplay, or maybe just an announcement for another delay? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going. So see ya.